She makes it scrappy like that. Hello, stranger. Good to see you. Hi, Dan. Even you're human. Hey, you. He does a lot of work in our community. What do you do? He also works full time for. I know, but anyways.
Where is he? Oh, I'm over in St. Louis.
Oh,
Oh, it's a pretty community.
there you because he just started working again.
I'm gonna drop
I don't know,
her
you're following Clark.
probably tomorrow.
You were ready by yourself?
I will just leave them in a bag.
There was somebody else in front of you on like.
Yes, front porch.
That was you. I thought it was you.
She can call me.
That's what I saw.
Three meetings tomorrow besides the revival.
We rode all the way to Johnny B's in Mason.
You did?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, girl. They made me want to ride. Watching you ride. Made me want to kick it into a different gear.
As soon as I get off of work,
I want to sit in front.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm like,
Hi, how are you? I saw her earlier, so I feel like we already.
don't see it because I wanna look them up on the website about what they're for.
Yeah, so we're going to see each
And
other.
also,
Like, kind of capacity.
I did, okay, on one of the pages of the program, it shows
Good evening and welcome to the City of Lemon Grove's regular city council meeting. I would like to remind everyone to silence your cell phones. City clerk, would you please call the roll of the city council members to go on the record as in attendance?
Councilmember Ate Marano,
Here.
Councilmember Bayai, here. Councilmember Heredia,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza,
Here.
Mayor Snow.
Here.
Mayor Snow, we have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? City clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
Mayor Snow, I have no changes to tonight's agenda.
All right, and I'm glad to see everyone survived the earthquake. It was pretty shaken up. Luckily, the city is intact, in large part. No broken gas lines or anything, so hallelujah. Next, we have a short presentation, and I'm really excited to introduce our new captain here in our Sheriff's Department. So he'll be operating out of Rancho San Diego, and we'd love to have you come forward and introduce yourself. With Lieutenant Barry.
Okay, thank God it worked for me. Madam Mayor, City Council, City staff, and members of the Lemon Grove community, it's my pleasure to introduce our brand new captain out of the Rancho San Diego Sheriff's Station. This is Captain Ruben Medina. He's been with the department for 19 years. He took over for Captain Amber Baggs, who just retired from our Rancho San Diego station. And Captain Medina is the captain over our substation here in Lemon Grove. So, without further ado, let me turn it over to the boss.
Mayor, council, and residents of Lemon Grove, it's my honor, it's my privilege to be here. Again, my name is Ruben Medina. First and foremost, I'm a father, I'm a husband. My wife is a school teacher. She teaches out of the Chula Vista School District. I've got 3 little ones, ages 3, almost 4, 6, and 7. As Lieutenant Barry mentioned, I've been with the Sheriff's Office I'm in my 19th year, and during that time, I've worked a variety of assignments, to include being a gang detective here in Lemon Grove, Spring Valley, Rancho San Diego, Lakeside Santee, a variety of assignments. But this is a bit of a homecoming for me. This is the assignment of a lifetime for me. Like I said, it's an honor and privilege to come back to Lemon Grove. I have an office right over here in the gang office, and to serve the community of Lemon Grove, to support and work with all of you folks. It's just an honor and a privilege to be here. I look forward to continuing the great work and the relationships that my predecessors have already formed, and to be here united with all of you. So thank you. Thank you for the welcome.
Thank you so much, Captain Medina. We're very excited to have you back in our community, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Next, we'll move to the public comment portion of the agenda. During the public comment portion of the agenda, the public can express their concerns for items that are not on the agenda today. I know sometimes this process is a little bit frustrating, but this is a good opportunity for us to be able to hear your concerns. If you want us to follow up with your concerns or want a particular member or staff to reach out to you, just let us know, and we will make sure that that happens after the meeting. So the first person that we will call is Brenda Hammond.
You want to get it now, or do you want to?
So today I walked the full length of North Avenue, where the homeless were set up, at one time. And I say were because they're gone, and I saw the big beautiful fence, but I wondered, where they went. So, you know, I'm out there, and I talked with some of them. This is Easter week, and the pop-up churches are out there. You know, the ones that show up when there's extra money for the homeless, or for whatever emergency funds are available, the fires, the floods. So please don't give in to them and use that money for what it's supposed to be for, which I don't know what, you know, what that is. Oh, so here's the fun. So, so I was going through my book notes, because I'm writing that book, and look what I found. That's from 2012. So I'll write that. Thanks for what you do.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Hammond. Next, we have Larry Bonneville.
My name. My name is Larry Bonomo. I'm a business owner. My business is across the street from the proposed site of the tiny houses, and I've been there for 45 years. Since the property is owned by Caltrans and it is in Lemon Grove, the county should have notified all the parties of the gas leak back in 2005. This property was only monitored for a few months. It was never cleaned up. Supposedly, they ran out of money. I've never heard of a hazardous waste site cleaning itself up by letting it sit vacant for years. I understand that somebody called for a soil testing, which is a good start. My question to you is, why didn't they test the testing well that was already there? Why didn't they test the soil near the well, but stayed far away? This you can go look for yourself. They stayed 50 feet away and over 100 feet away from it. Why didn't they test the soil where the nursery greenhouses were? That were located at the southern corner of the property. That's where they were using the pesticides on the orchids and the greenhouses. Seems to me that the soil test is not a very accurate test of the hazardous waste that's on that property. I believe that the city of Lemon Grove is putting itself in the middle of a lawsuit at this location. And I'm sure that if you guys proceed with this, you will notify everybody that works on this property, that stays on this property, that enters, that they will be entering at their own risk, like cigarette warnings, if this site goes through. And if it does go through, I'm sure you're going to be prepared for lawsuits.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bonomo. Next, we have Humberto Rodriguez. Yeah, just have to hold it super close to your mouth.
I just work around here in Lemon Grove. It's very nice. Like the other person said, there used to be a lot of homeless people back there, and with time, they vanished. They're not there anymore. I have noticed that in Antifa, so it used to be full of homeless here, and it's not like that anymore. They're here and there, but it's changed a little bit. So I work out, and it's very nice. That's all I have to say. Lemon Grove is a very nice city, and I go from there to La Mesa. I see a couple homicides. I seen two of them. One of the guys got caught. And there was another homicide last year here in skate park, and they caught the guy. The only one that I don't know is the one over there by La Mesa. But there has been a couple homicides around here last year maybe. But they've gotten them. You know, there was a homicide right there in Grove Street, and they got the guy. So yeah, I've seen two homicides recently, but it's been okay. You know, they got the guy, so they got one of them. I don't know about the other one. But yeah, it's very nice. I like the city of Lemon Grove. Broadway runs very nice. You know, it's full of commercial businesses. So Lemon Grove is very nice. So I have to tell you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ken King.
Good afternoon. November 19th, the old mayor threatened me outside the offices here requested or 2 days later, copies of the Ring camera footage. I told Joelle that it needed to be done within 30 days or else it's going to be written over. Since that time, I was pushed back 10 times. It's been 5 months now. I received a notice the other day saying that you guys are closing the case because you don't have access to the cameras. They're not yours, they belong to Hope Incorporated. Hope Incorporated rents from the city. It was a very simple ask for you guys to ask them for the copy of the footage, but you chose not to do it. I don't know what the issue is, other than the fact that some of the people on the diocese do not like me. Second, we've talked to you guys about the tiny home project. You guys keep pushing us off, pushing us off, and pushing us off. We're done being pushed off. As of right now, I'm letting you know, this is a notice in the intent to circulate a petition. We are recalling you, Allison Snow, and I'm going to serve you right now.
You should start the city clerk's desk.
I'm serving him as well. Everybody gets a copy. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks,
You're
Ken.
welcome.
Next, we have Mason Melito.
Good evening, council members. My name is Mason Melito, and I'm a constituent here in Lemon Grove. I'm right over near the Yum Yum Donuts at Sophie Joe's down on Skyline. And I'm here today to urge you all to support the expansion of our city's retail pet sales ban to include all animals, not just cats, rabbits, and dogs, but also small mammals like birds, also birds, reptiles, and other species that are commonly sold in stores. As someone who cares deeply about both animal welfare and the health of our community, I believe that this is an extremely meaningful opportunity to improve conditions for animals while also improving the city of Lemon Grove as a whole. Many of the animals sold in pet stores here are sourced from large-scale commercial breeding facilities, also known as mills, which are similar to puppy mills, where they're bred in overcrowded, unsanitary environments with little to no veterinary care. These facilities exist to maximize profit and not to ensure the health or humane treatment of the animals they breed. And the animals that come out of these places are oftentimes sick, stressed, and under-socialized, and they're marketed to customers in Lemon Grove as quote-unquote low maintenance or great for beginners. But the truth is that many of these animals have complex physical and emotional needs that pet stores don't educate buyers about. And these are wild animals that are not meant to be in people's homes unless absolutely needed. When people realize how much care is actually required to take care of these animals, they often surrender these animals to shelters or worse, release them into the wild where they can't survive and could be a threat to native species. So expanding our current retail pet sales ban would help solve this issue on multiple levels. First, it would support shelters and rescues. These facilities are already under pressure, and when people surrender animals like guinea pigs or rabbits or reptiles or birds, it stretches resources that could be used to take care for animals already in need. And by cutting off the supply of animals from commercial breeders to pet stores, we reduce the number of animals entering the system in the first place. It would also help protect our local environment because released non-native species can cause real harms. And exotic pets like turtles, parrots, and lizards often outcompete native animals, disrupt ecosystems, and in some cases spread disease. And third, and perhaps most importantly, this ordinance would ensure that Lemon Grove stands firmly against the inhumane practices of mass breeding operations. It would show that we value ethical, responsible sourcing of animals and that we support adoption through shelters, rescues, and responsible breeders, rather than through profit-driven systems that neglect animal well-being. Cities in California have already started taking action and doing similar expansions of their bans, including West Hollywood, Berkeley, Oakland, and even our own Del Mar, which is very close to us. There are 3 pet stores that will be affected in Lemon Grove. That would be Petco, San Diego Animal Supply, and a smaller store that I personally visited right across the street. And what I found there was truly upsetting. Filthy tanks, empty water bowls, and even deceased animals in plain sight. I'm asking you to consider this expansion as an opportunity for Lemon Grove to protect animals, support shelters, and lead with values.
Wow.
Thank you so much. consent calendar. Do we have any comments on the consent calendar? Okay, no public comment on the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll second that.
Joel, do you want to call the roll?
A motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza with a second by Councilmember Altamirano to approve the consent calendar. I will now conduct the roll to go on the record. Councilmember Fayai.
Aye.
Councilmember Heredia.
Aye.
Councilmember Altamirano.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza.
Aye.
Mayor Snow.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Next, we have the reports to council. This is item number 2. It's the biannual campaign contribution limitations adjustment. And we will call on the city clerk, Joel Pablo, to present the report.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, City Council members, and members of the public. I am presenting tonight item number 2 on your agenda, the biannual adjustment of campaign contribution limits as outlined in Lemon Grove Municipal Code, section 9.08.040M. The recommended action for tonight is to adopt a resolution adjusting the campaign contribution limits pursuant to Lemon Grove Municipal Section 9.08.040M. The new limit will increase campaign contributions from individuals from the current set amount of $1,170 to $1,230. I will now present some background information. In 2011, the City Council recognized the importance of setting reasonable and constitutionally sound campaign contribution limits. This decision was guided by significant court rulings, including the notable case of Gaheimer versus the City of Lemon Grove, which emphasized that campaign contribution limits must be periodically reviewed and adjusted to reflect inflation and current economic conditions. Our municipal code requires that every 2 years, specifically in February, I apologize, I'm now reading it to you in April, of odd-numbered years, campaign contribution limits be adjusted according to changes in the Consumer Price Index for the San Diego metropolitan area. This adjustment ensures our contribution limits remain relevant, fair, and effective in safeguarding the integrity of our local elections. Since the last adjustment made in August of 2023, we have seen an increase in CPI increase of 5.1% in the San Diego area. So as you can see here from the PowerPoint presentation, in January 2023, that increase was 6.4%. In January 2024, that increase was 3.8%. The average CPI, consumer price increase, is 5.1%. The source that I used to get these numbers were from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So I did the math on that, and it went up to $1,230. That's rounded up to the nearest $5. Why is this relevant and necessary? It's relevant and necessary to ensure fairness, legal compliance, transparency, and integrity. The impact of the adjustment will be effective immediately following adoption from City Council. The next scheduled adjustment will take place on February 2027. Staff's recommendation is to adopt this resolution adjusting the campaign contribution limits pursuant to Lemon Grove Municipal Code section 9.08.040M from $1,170 to $1,230. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Fantastic, thank you so much for bringing this to us, Mr. Pablo. Do we have any speaker slips on this item?
Mayor Snow, I have no speaker slips for this item.
Okay. So then we'll just turn to council questions and comments. We'll start with Councilmember Altamirano.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Fayad.
No questions.
Councilmember Heredia.
No questions.
Councilmember Mendoza, or Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza, sorry.
No questions. I'd like to move that we adopt a resolution adjusting campaign contribution limits pursuant to Lemon Grove Municipal Code, section 9.08.040. M.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
A motion was made by Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza with a second by Councilmember Fahey to approve staff's recommendation. I will now conduct the roll to go on the record. Councilmember Heredia.
Aye.
Councilmember Altamirano.
Aye.
Councilmember Fahey.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza.
Aye.
Mayor Snow.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Next, we'll move to item number 3. This is an update regarding the emergency repairs at Inglewood Drive and Dayton Drive project and their project update. I'll turn the time over to Izzy Murguia, our Public Works Director, to present the report.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm actually going to turn this over to our Operations Manager, Tom Martin, to give the presentation this evening.
Good evening, Board. My name is Tom Martin. I'm the Operations and Administration Manager for the Public Works Department. Tonight I'm going to be giving you a brief update on the emergency repairs at Inglewood Drive and Dayton Drive. Just to give you a little background, the District Board approved resolution number 2025-1, which approved emergency sewer repairs on Inglewood Drive and Dayton Drive. This project consists of about 300 feet of new 8-inch sewer main, rechanneling 3 manholes, and reinstalling 4 new sewer laterals, in addition to restoring the paving and private property to the original condition. After the board approval, plans were drafted by the engineering department. Those plans were then sent out to 3 qualified contractors requesting estimates. We received 2 estimates, and the third could not meet our timeline for construction. Next slide. Next slide, please. And so here's just a picture of the overview. We're going to be abandoning 2 sewer mains that flow through approximately 6 backyards. We're going to be relocating the pipeline into the public right-of-way. And the original engineer's estimate was $251,000. As we got into the details of the engineering, we found that there was additional work required to complete the project. Some of that work includes bypass pumping, additional concrete work, a driveway replacement, landscape replacement, and there's going to be a substantial amount of hand digging. There's a main that is underneath the carport, and we can't get mechanical equipment in there to excavate. So it's going to require hand digging. Next slide. Next slide, please. So the lowest estimate that was received was from Vidovich Construction, Inc. for $367,787.40. The contract award is authorized per resolution number 2025-01, which authorizes emergency work to be completed under the direction of the general manager. We do have sufficient funds available in the fiscal year 2024-25 sanitation district capital improvement budget for the sewer manhole rehab. Next slide. So the next steps, we did receive the executed construction contract from the contractor today. We're working through the bids to make sure that the documents are all in compliance with the requirements. And as soon as we do that, I'm anticipating that will take place tomorrow. We're going to issue a notice to proceed to the contractor. They are prepared to start work immediately right after we issue that notice to proceed. Next slide. And with that, I can answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martin. Thank you so much, Mr. Martin. Now we'll ask if we have any public comments.
Mayor Snow, I have no public comments or speaker slips for this item.
Okay, then we will go ahead and close public comment, and now we'll turn to questions and comments from the council members, but first we have a comment from the city manager.
Madam Mayor, one issue that we failed to mention is why we're bringing this item to you as an informational item. And so I'm gonna ask Mr. Murguia or Mr. Martin to sort of go over why we are bringing it to council.
Thank you.
Certainly, thank you. Mayor, members of the city council, or I'm sorry, district board, member chair, and members of the board. The item when we came before you in February was to ask for emergency authorization for the emergency repairs for this location. At that time, we gave you an engineer's estimate of $251,000, and so in spirit of transparency, we're coming before you to advise the board that we're going above and beyond that engineer's estimate for the reasons that Mr. Martin outlined, and to give you an update that the contract has since been, or is in the process of being executed, and then generally just to give you an update and keep you apprised of the emergency project. So that's the reason why we're here this evening.
Thank you so much for that. We'll now move to Councilmember Altamirano.
Thank you. So my understanding is that the price has significantly increased, about $117,000.
Correct, it has.
Okay. It's a lot of money, and it's unfortunate that we only got one contractor to submit a bid, even though we asked multiple.
We actually received 2 estimates.
Okay.
The other one was Montano Pipeline,
Mhm.
and they gave a bid of $464,700.
Okay.
Okay.
For 300 linear feet, I mean, and all the work that it entails, I don't think I think it sounds right about right because of the additional work that we have to do and all that specialty work is costly, so.
It is.
Yeah. Normally, when we request bids, we send them out, normally how many vendors do we send them out to?
For estimates, we typically send them to 3. Yes.
That's it, I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's not out of the normal, that type of work is very costly.
It is.
Councilmember Altamirano, we also, when we do a formal bid process, we have a program called Planet Bids, in which we put the bid documents up there, and that is available to all contractors that sign up. And so we've been averaging about 5 to 7 bids on our formally bid projects. So we do reach quite a few. And some have specialty expertise, and so that's why sometimes the bid pool or the estimate pool is lower. Mr. Murguia.
Thank you. And just to reference the resolution, so the resolution waives the bidding requirements. So per the resolution in the emergency ordinance, we are allowed to go to one contractor for a bid price. But however, in an effort to ensure that we're getting the best value, we did it in a quick informal bid process. Vidovich, a contractor that Tom has worked with in his prior agency. Montano was a contractor that we were in the process getting in a contract on another project, and I can't remember the third, but in an effort to expedite the process, we did this informal bid process, which is not required under the resolution. Normally, we would bid this project, if it wasn't an emergency, this would go out to bid at least 4 weeks, and then another 4 weeks at least to get it on the agenda, and get the contract process. So we're shaving about 2 months off the timeline.
Councilmember Fayad.
Thanks for the presentation, guys. quickly, what is the timeline for the project?
The contractor said they could complete it in 30 days.
Okay. And then 30 days, does it put any of our constituents out of, does it inconvenience them, does it put them out of their homes at all, or are we
No.
working around them?
Yeah, no, we're gonna work around them. So the contractor can, the new laterals are gonna go to a completely new location. And so the contractor can install those up right to the connection point. So they're gonna be out of service for a couple hours, maybe at max.
Cool, no further questions, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Heredia.
I just wanted to address something just because we're getting into the Measure T, and I know that we'll most likely use some funds for that in the future. Are we finding it very common that when we get into these sewer drains that we are having to, we're finding more work than necessary, or that we necessarily knew about, or maybe the scope of work has changed a little bit?
Yes, in this case, that initial estimate was kind of a cursory overview. When the actual engineering took place and we went down into the nuts and bolts of it, it turned out there was quite a bit more work involved, and that's why the price escalated.
Okay, so I'm just gonna recommend that we keep track of those maybe as we're coming across them, so that when we give Measure T committee some information, they have kind of an idea of maybe to give that fund, if it's going to, some of it's gonna probably go to sewer, or storm drains, I'm sorry, they would allocate a little extra maybe to that fund.
Okay.
Something like that.
Councilmember Heredia, I just want to do one clarification. Measure T is not for the sanitation district, and this is a sanitation district item. Measure T is for storm drains, which is different in the general fund. So Measure T is exclusively for general fund, revenue. This is our enterprise fund or sanitation fund, so we can't tap Measure T for these times. But we are still gonna do the tracking, because that's the best business practices, as you suggested, so thank you. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza.
Well, you took my comment away from me. I was just going to reiterate that this is, our sanitation district, funds and not coming from, our general funds. And, it's specifically coming from our capital improvement program, which we, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm losing my voice here, which we've put in place to keep our sewer, our systems in good working order. Is this taking away from another project, or, is there sufficient funds to still complete, the capital improvement program that we have in place for our sanitation district?
I believe there are sufficient funds for the future CIP projects. If this wasn't classified as an emergency, it would have been put on the budget for the next fiscal year, and we would have done it right away. The pipeline's in very bad condition. There's areas where the tree roots are literally holding it together. So it's urgent that we get this done right away. The money was gonna be spent sooner or later.
All right, thank you for clarifying.
Any final questions or comments? Councilmember Altamirano?
What is our current, balance or funds available for this, sanitation district?
In the CIP, I believe it's about $7 million.
Thank you. All right, with no other questions or comments, the report has been received. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you.
Next, we'll move to item number 4, the award of contract number 2025-27 for the Cassia Street Storm Drain Improvement Project. Again, we'll have Izzy Murguia, our Public Works Director, present the report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Good evening. The item before you is a recommendation to approve a contract for the Acacia Street Storm Drain Improvement Project. Next slide, please. As is already known, the January 2024 storms caused significant damage to public infrastructure and also revealed undersized drainage areas throughout the city. One of the undersized drainage areas is on Acacia Street. The city has a 12-foot drainage easement between the residential property at 3206 Acacia Street and the Lemon Grove School District property. The property itself has a history of flooding. Additionally, the drainage master plan has identified the drainage area as being undersized. Next slide, please. So this is a project vicinity. Essentially, the project is directly across the street from us on Acacia Street. This is Lemon Grove Middle School fields. We're around here somewhere. Golden Avenue, and then Acacia Street that ends and abuts the school district. Next slide, please. These are two images of the project site. The image here to your left is a viewpoint of the dead end of Acacia Street. So if you were standing at the end of Acacia Street, you'll see a drainage gutter that connects the east side to the west side, and that connects to an asphalt drainage ditch that runs alongside 3206 Acacia Street, which is located right where my laser pointer is. The asphalt channel runs about 150 feet and connects to a head wall where there is an 18-inch reinforced concrete pipe that goes across school district property and connects to a storm drain underneath school lane. Next slide, please. I'll just give you a brief overview of the project and the improvements that are included as part of this project. So with this project, the project seeks to install 230 feet of new 18-inch reinforced concrete pipe storm drain along Acacia Street. So we'll be installing a curb inlet at the closest property is 3216 Acacia Street. So there'll be a storm drain inlet with about 75 feet of storm drain. There'll be a catch basin at the end of Acacia Street, and then about 8 feet of reinforced concrete pipe, and then another 150 feet of reinforced concrete pipe that connects to the head wall at the end of, or in the middle of the school district property. Additionally, we'll be installing 3 catch basins. So the first one being at the end of Acacia, the second one being at the start of the channel, and the third one at the end of the by the head wall. These catch basins are being installed because we are, in essence, increasing the capacity. So not only are we rehabbing the channel with a 8-foot concrete channel, but we're installing an 18-foot storm drain underneath the channel, so that water can not only be conveyed at grade, but below grade as well. The image here, which is blocked by the lectern here, but the image here just shows the channel, which is an 8-foot channel with a storm drain running underneath it. Acacia Street currently does not have any drainage facilities. So all the water that runs from Golden Avenue runs down Acacia Street and into the channel. So you can imagine reasons why the channel is undersized. By installing 2 drainage facilities in one area, we are looking to improve the conveyance and the capacity. As mentioned, the master plan identifies this area as undersized, and so this is one of the improvements. The other improvement that we undertook earlier this year is we replaced the storm drain on School Lane sometime late last year, and so that is part of the entire drainage area as part of these improvements. What we're not doing is installing replacing the reinforced concrete pipe that runs, or that connects from the head wall here through the school district property. That reinforced concrete pipe is in really good condition. There are no issues with it other than it being undersized. That might be a project for later. You know, we felt that the need at the end of the area, so the school lane storm drain pipe, and at the front end, which are these improvements, would help alleviate flooding issues that the neighborhood is experiencing. Next slide, please. So in an effort to undertake these storm drain improvements, staff advertised a request for bids on February 21st, 2025, and bids were due on March 11th. Staff received 5 bids, and upon opening and reviewing those bids, staff identified Burt W. Salas Incorporated as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder with a bid of $237,768. Next slide, please. Here's a project cost. We have the baseline construction cost of $247,768,000. Staff we're including a separate line item for construction management and inspection for this project. Material testing for the installation of the pipe and to test soils for the end result of the channel. Here's your subtotal, and then a 5% contingency for any unexpected issues or change orders for a project, overall project cost of $303,206. Next slide, please. With that, staff recommends that the City Council award a contract number 2025-27 to Burt W. Salas Incorporated for $247,768 for the storm drain improvements adjacent to 3206 Acacia Street, and authorize the city manager to execute any necessary documents. That concludes staff's presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Do we have any comments on this? Public comment?
Mayor Snell, I have no speaker slips for this item.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comment portion of that, and we'll go into comments and questions from the council members. I would like to say I'm really excited to see this. I had conversations with a woman that lives just adjacent to that property line, and they were severely impacted by the floods. And it's an ongoing problem. She herself has gone over on the school side to try and clean out the drains. So increasing the conveyance and the capacity is going to be really critical to helping those homeowners in that area be able to save their homes from future floods at least. Can't go back in time. At least this will help them going forward. So now I'll move over to Councilmember Altamirano.
I'll just piggyback on that. I have spoken to neighbors in that area as well, and they've flooded multiple times. So that's really good that they'll be able to stay dry and not worry about when the rain comes about their furniture getting damaged and dealing with water in their house. Does this, the cost for the improvements for storm drain, those comes from the general fund, right? And do we know how many claims we have from that storm in 2024?
I'm going to refer to the city manager or city attorney for an updated list. I don't have that number.
You weren't on the city council when we had the closed session item about this, correct? Can we have that discussion in my office, because it is closed session item information on that? Thank you.
So I'm sure we have multiple claims, and just wondering how we, 250,000 for one area, if we have any fund allocated for those repairs?
I'll try to address your question broadly. funding side, if you recall, last council meeting, the city council adopted, the Transnet LSI allocation. Most of the money for storm drains is coming from Transnet. We also have gas tax that we utilize. This project is utilizing both gas tax and Transnet. Our other projects include Edding Drive, which was awarded a couple meetings ago, Golden Avenue, which was awarded a couple meetings ago. Again, all of those projects are funded from Transnet for this year. With regards to other issues around town that we know of from the result, there are a couple more in the queue, and those are directly related to areas that are accepted public drainage easements where we have the responsibility to maintain.
Councilmember Fayad?
Yes, I'm gonna piggyback off the piggy bank. Because there's a lot of piggy banking going on here. I also too, this lady this family that lives in this corner where this picture was taken from, I had to solicit 30 signatures, and she was like my second signature. She told me her whole story of how she had to replace the flooring in her house and all that, and I didn't even know what she was talking about. It flooded, and so it's kind of encouraging to see that this is getting done. Izzy, what is the timeline for this project to get done?
60 days. 60 working days.
Okay. And then is, you had mentioned that there was an area that we thought we could kind of bypass because it was kind of in a decent condition, and then we could address it later if it becomes a problem later. Is there a way we can just tackle that thing so we don't have to come back to this area if we ever run into this situation? I feel like if we're just gonna do the project, we might as well do it once and do it right, and then never have to do it again.
At this moment, we would not be able to. We don't have the funding for it. Joel, can you go back? Picture of the overview map, project vicinity, I believe. Back. There we go. So the area that I was referencing is a storm drain that runs from the edge of this, from the edge of the channel here, and it goes like 45 degrees and connects to School Lane. A lot of the flooding issues are occurring on Acacia Street primarily because there's no drainage infrastructure. By adding the 75 feet of drainage, storm drains here, and doubling the capacity of the channel, we believe that a lot of the issues will be alleviated. So, ideally, I would agree with you, we would love to replace that, but that's like over 200 feet of reinforced concrete pipe. It would have added a couple $100,000 on the project. And so we're trying to address these problem areas that we know exist in a cost-effective manner. But to answer your question, we would not be able to undertake this project if we were to replace that segment.
Okay, and then what is so that segment that we're talking about then, and we don't want to replace just yet, what is the condition of that segment?
So it's a concrete pipe, concrete storm drain. There are no fractures, breaks in the line. Typically the issues that we come across are storm drains that are made out of corrugated metal pipe, and this is actually a pipe that's not one of those for once. And so there's no root intrusion. With it being concrete, the conveyance the conveyance of water is a lot quicker, so you're able to get from point A to point B a lot quicker, so you're not having a lot of standing water or water backing up. And so that also, in a larger sense, will assist the drainage area to get water, in and out.
And then lastly, will it put any of our constituents out? Will any of them have to relocate for 60 days, or are they gonna be okay or in their homes?
Yeah, no, the improvements are all in the right of way, on the streets and within our 12-foot easement. We may need some additional feet to do some work along the channel, which the school district has provided. We are obviously in contact with the school district. They know that this project is forthcoming. We've been in communication with them, and they actually asked us to start the project when school ends, so on June 14th, I believe. So we'll be looking to start that project after that date. But no resident should be put out of their house, for lack of better words.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Heredia.
Well, you all asked all my questions already, but I thought of something else. So on behalf of the running club and all the sports clubs that meet on Saturday, thank you very much, because I know that area has been troublesome when we did the running club. Will these repairs impact them at all? Will Saturdays be closed, or will the running track be available, or?
Yeah, the running track should be available. It's several feet away from our 12-foot drainage easement. As part of the project, you will see temporary fencing, essentially, but that would be within the border of the channel.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza.
I don't have any questions.
One more round of questions or comments? Okay, I would move that we award a contract number 2025-27 to Burt W. Salas Inc. for $247,768 for the storm drain improvements adjacent to 3206 Acacia Street, and authorize the city manager to execute any necessary documents.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Clerk, can you take the roll?
The motion was made by Mayor Snow with a second by Councilmember Heredia to approve staff's recommendation. I will now conduct the roll to go on the record. Councilmember Heredia?
Aye.
Councilmember Fayad?
Aye.
Councilmember Altamirano?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza?
Aye.
Mayor Snow?
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Next, we will move to the council member meeting reports. This section of the meeting is dedicated to reports from the city council about meetings they attended at the expense of the city. The report is a brief summary of the meetings attended in their capacity as a city official. And as a reminder, we want to keep our comments brief and stay within the boundaries of the Brown Act. This includes matters that are not on the agenda. Start with Councilmember Altamirano.
On April 4th, I attended the San Diego Chamber of Commerce, I believe it's called Coffee Friday. And this was at Noah's home in Humboldt, like Spring Valley, Humboldt border. This was my first time at this organization, this property, 11 acres of this beautiful, beautiful grounds. It's a nonprofit organization that serves about 90 adults with Down syndrome. They have the condition of Down syndrome, so they house them there, and I believe they take them in at 18 years old, and usually they live there their entire life. And because of their condition and the extra chromosome, they tend to have more of like dementia and Alzheimer's. So they have, for the older ones, they have another home that houses about 10 of them. It's called Memory Lane, and it was just very nice to learn about their services. The residents don't pay anything. They're housed 100% free. and the work that they do there is pretty amazing. So I wanna go back. I believe during the summer, they have like a barbecue for the residents, it's a fundraiser, and then they also have, like a carol, where the community comes and carols for the residents during Christmas time. I wanna show you that too. I was just happy to be there. That same day, on April 4th, I had a Zoom meeting with Mr. Mason Melito. He was the resident that just spoke about the pet stores. And then on April 8th, I met with Mr. Williams. That same day, Councilmember Faya and I met with the Lemon Grove Superintendent, Mariana Vincent. We are working on promoting Lemon Grove and promoting the love for our community, working with her on how we promote culture, not just in the residents, but also the little ones, because that kind of culture starts when they're little. So we are planning a trash pickup day after our Arbor and Earth Day on the 26th, so if the community wants to join us. Teresa Rosiak is also part of that, thank you. And then on April 9th, Mayor Snow and I attended the VECA luncheon. It's a Veterans East County Alliance, and actually Lemon Grove BFW was the host. I forget the number of the BFW, but it's the one right here on Lemon Grove Avenue. That was very nice. And then this morning, I attended the East County Chamber of Commerce virtual meeting. There was two things on the agenda that caught my attention. One of them was the Clean Water Act, and they got to vote on that, and pretty much they said it was something they weren't gonna support because California, out of all the states in the country, have the most strict water measures, and this would affect a lot of businesses. Most of the water authorities were against it, so they got to vote no on that. And then there was another Senate bill, and that one caught my attention as well, and that one was to streamline a process to evict people that take over empty homes, so not tenants, not rightful tenants, but squatters. They're experiencing a lot of that now with the homes in LA County with the fires. So they brought that on, and a lot of the sheriff's associations, a lot of police associations are actually for this process. There's a lot of protections for tenants, so there has to be some affidavits signed that landlords need to file saying, you know, this is not a rightful landlord. So there are some protections that I really liked for tenants, and fines. So if a landlord wants to get smart and use that process to evict a rightful tenant, then there will be some consequences. So they also voted in favor of that. And then after that, I talked mad trash with Steve South, the president of EDCO, and Carl, and it was pretty cool. They gave me a tour of their facilities, and I was impressed, highly impressed. I will never see that facility, that building the same way again. They process, so this facility here in Lemon Grove processes all the recycled products. And the way they do it, and the amount of people that they have at that plant is pretty amazing. They process everything from cardboard, and it was pretty interesting because they are the ones that see consumer behavior. So if consumers are buying a lot of Amazon, they see a lot of Amazon boxes. They're, you know, after a holiday, they're consuming a lot of alcohol, they'll see a lot of cans or bottles. So they get to see how our residents behaved.
Trash tells a story.
Yes, it does. I was impressed because they're doing a lot of wonderful things for the environment. So all of our trash, which are not, you know, it's not a sexy thing to do, pick up the trash, they actually make our cities and our residences, our communities very sexy, because they take it and they process it and they help the environment. It just doesn't go to the dump. They take everything, they separate it, and the cardboard goes and gets sold off to Asia, and the bottles, the glass and the cans and the plastic stays here in the United States. And then for businesses as well, any construction debris, they bring it in there and then they sort it out. The concrete goes and comes gravel, the dirt, they pile it up, the rebar, everything, the drywall, they sell it off to farmers. So they really do a good job at helping our environment as much as they can. So that's my report.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Doing great things for the community, I love it. Councilmember Fayad.
Yes, thank you. Let's see, on April 3rd, I attended the Lemon Grove Farmers Market. I tried this new food truck. It's called Kitchen Me Rollin'. Bro, it was amazing. It's like this barbecue, I don't know, it's just really good. So if you see them there, you should try it. It's really, really good. But I love our Lemon Grove Farmers Market. I think it's really cool to see the community come out. April 4th, I attended a roundtable discussion hosted by Assemblymember Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins. It was really, really informative. It was a roundtable discussion on Prop 36, and it was great to network. There were a lot of amazing groups in the room, just representing their different areas throughout the city. It was just really cool to kind of network and just to hear people's hearts when it comes to Prop 36. So it was a great discussion. I think we're going to have meetings quarterly, and so my next meeting will be I believe June, so I'm looking forward to that. April 10th, I attended the Heartland Fire Training Authority meeting. We approved the fiscal year 25-26 budget. Jay Pedersen, who's the clerk of the board, did a phenomenal job kind of laying out the just what next year looks like. And then he kind of talked about how you know they worked into the budget, the 25-26 budget. Obviously, we as a nation are kind of going through some uncertain times, and kind of things are up in the air. But I just love the way how they're planning forward and purchasing supplies that you know that they'll need down the road, and he's not knowing if it's going to be there in 6 months or so. So they're really planning ahead to work around those areas. Chief, am I missing anything from that meeting?
I just what? Sorry.
What do you mean throw you in?
I just want to say thank you for attending, and thank you for taking the tour, and recognizing the efforts that the training facility is putting into planning for the future.
Yeah. It was a really cool tour. Jennifer, you've been on it. It's an amazing tour. They promised me next time I can come and put on apparatus and right? Is that true? I'm one of you two. Yeah, I'm one of you two. That's on the record.
And I actually did that. No, but we climbed the ladder on the truck.
Yeah, but did you shoot the hose or anything like that?
We got to use the jaws of life.
Chief,
Wow.
I've been,
I know.
This doesn't, whatever.
I don't want to one up you.
You are one of me right now, Jennifer.
I also have a helmet.
A helmet?
Yeah.
Like a real one or a plastic kid one?
No, it's a real one.
Okay. Chief, I better get a lot of cool stuff when I come back. With her name on it?
Wow.
Ridiculous. Can we skip Jennifer's turn, please? Anyways, and then on, let's see, on the 12th, which was Saturday, my wife and I we spent, and some team members from Sprouts Lemon Grove, we spent some time at the community garden, which is really cool. We had an opportunity to do a couple of refreshes on some of the planter boxes, so that was really cool. And then, just like Councilmember Altamirano mentioned, we did meet with Superintendent Mariana Vincent. Just, I mean, a lot of you guys know that I'm a youth guy. I really believe in the future, of our city. And I just thinking out the opportunity, the more we give them the opportunity to serve in our community, the more they'll buy into how important, really taking care of our community really means. And I think us being able to kind of instill that to them at a young age is really important. And then working alongside, the superintendent, it's just really cool to be able to foster those characteristics into our schools and into our students is a big deal. And then last but not least, I want a special shout out to my favorite sister-in-law, my brother-in-law. They're from Portland, Oregon. Lindsay and Tim, they're here visiting. So, anyways, thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Next we'll move to Councilmember Heredia.
Okay, so on April 3rd, I attended the Metro Wastewater JPA. They did their first, well, it's a draft actually at this point, of the second amended and restated agreement, which is also known as the SARA. It's not a first reading quite yet, but it's a first draft, and they went over that. I did forward it to Lydia, and I know Izzy was there with me, so he's got it. The last time that document was actually updated was 1998, and I thought that was really interesting. So we're gaining a lot more control, and as far as the allocation of the liabilities and the fines. It sounded like San Diego City has been a pretty good steward of allowing the conversation to be equal and fair. Let's see. I've volunteered several times. I didn't write the dates down, sorry. At the Sunshine House. The Ford Club is helping the church put that back together. I shared a beautiful earthquake moment with Lydia Romero, Jennifer Mendoza, and staff. When we were being briefed on things happening around the city. And at one point we got under the table and I thought this would be a really great Christmas card. And then to finish up, just be on the lookout for a coffee with the council members Saturday, May 17th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lemon Grove Coffee. Me and Steve Faya will be there. We're gonna answer questions. We're gonna meet our neighbors and just kind of get a feel for, telling you what's happening and see what your concerns are. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Next we'll have Councilmember Jennifer Mendoza.
Well, I've been out of town for 11 days of the last 14 days, but I still managed to attend 3 meetings. Last week I attended the Lemon Grove Clergy Association, and we meet monthly. And the one thing I wanted to share is on this Friday, which is Good Friday, the clergy, different churches in Lemon Grove walk through the city of Lemon Grove praying for the city. We've been doing this, I think, for at least the last 20 years. And if you've never participated and you're so inclined, please join us at 10 a.m. at Truganza Park. Yesterday I attended Cal City's, after the earthquake meeting. This will forever be known as the earthquake meeting. Before the earthquake meeting, after the earthquake meeting. I attended the California League of Cities meeting conveniently on Zoom. And we had a presentation on the California Jobs First program, which I had heard of, that the governor was throwing a lot of money at, but I hadn't really had a full presentation on what this program is. The website says California Jobs First invests in key sectors to drive sustainable economic growth, innovation, and access to good paying jobs. So it's a planning group, and the governor is providing grants to, California's been divided into 13 regions, and we're part of the border region, and we could have an opportunity to apply for one of these grants. The object is to bring more jobs, innovative jobs, but also to and I'm not gonna say everything because I know you probably have some things to say about it too. The mayor was at this meeting as well. To California to build up our strength as an economy. And then, I'm gonna share this very quickly. Last night, I attended the wrap-up meeting for the Interfaith Shelter Network. Our church, St. John of the Cross, participated in the last 2 weeks of the shelter. The shelter lasted for 3 months. So over the course of 3 months, 15 individuals had a roof over, homeless individuals had a roof over their head at various churches in the East County. They were here in Lemon Grove for the last 2 weeks. There were 12 adults, there were 3 children under the age of 5. And 4 of the adults attained full-time employment. And those 4 adults also went into housing, not shelters. They went into housing. The program pays for their first month's rent and for their deposit, and then, you know, they're responsible after that. 3 of the women were women my age who were experiencing some very serious health problems in addition to being over 65. And they had been living in their cars, and one woman was pretty much living on the street. All 3 of them went into, I didn't even know this was available, but they went into housing provided for by their health insurance companies so that they could receive, one woman has stage 4 cancer, so she will have housing while she's getting her cancer treatments, which will be paid for by Blue Cross. The other 2 women needed surgery, and they'll be going into a rehab facility, and then the social worker is continuing to try to find them housing after they're in rehab for, I think, 30 to 60 days. And then the 2 women that have the small children, they've received hotel vouchers while they're continuing to try to find housing for them. So anyway, in my heart, this is a big success because none of these people went back. None of the people who were in this shelter went back on the streets, back into sleeping in their cars, back into couch surfing. For now, they all have a roof over their head. So I consider that a huge success. And that's why I continue to volunteer with this program.
On April 4th, I had the opportunity to go to my grandmother's 100th birthday party, so that was pretty fantastic. Then on April 9th, I attended the Sandag briefing. On April 9th, I also attended the Veterans of East County Association event here in Lemon Grove with Councilmember Altamirano. We had a really good opportunity to host here. It's the first time since I've been a council member that they've hosted here in Lemon Grove, and they really enjoyed being here with our commander, and just enjoyed being in our community. So we were really excited to have them. We learned about some neat programs that are available for veterans. One of them is the Welcome Home program. So veterans of the World War II, Korean War, or Vietnam War have the opportunity to take a helicopter flight all the way to DC and back, and then there's a group that stands and welcomes them home when they get, and a lot of these veterans didn't get that kind of welcome home that they deserved originally, and so they encouraged us to be able to come and attend and experience that. They said bring a tissue, it's really heartwarming. We also learned about some veteran training programs, workforce development programs. So there's a lot out there for a veteran community. And hopefully I'll update my own webpage to make sure that people have that information. On April 10th, I attended the East County Leadership Program. I had the opportunity to present to a number of individuals in the East County region who are really striving to become leaders in their communities. They're part of a leadership program that goes, I think it's 6 months long? 6 months long, and they get to meet different people from all over the walks of government, and help really develop the next leaders. So that was a great program. I also, on April 11th, I attended the Sandag Board of Directors meeting. It was our first meeting in the new building. And it's a very, I think it goes bigger than this. Have you been there yet? No. It's this, yeah, it's this giant room. And so we're really far away from each other. So it was really interesting to be in the new place. I didn't get to stay for the tour because I had a meeting right after it. But yeah, they were in their new building there. There we discussed, primary topic was about retaining a attorney for the board. Previously, the CEO was the one to hire, fire the general counsel, and they decided to move to a different format to help with the, because the ultimate high body in a company is the board of directors. That's the final decision-making authority. So they wanted the board of directors to have that authority to be able to hire and fire the general counsel. And then they also wanted a separate independent counsel, so the general counsel would be more in the day-to-day employee of the actual Sandag organization, and then the independent contractor would be more to facilitate any questions or issues that the board of directors themselves may have. And that's the option that they decided to choose and move forward with. Next, I attended the Legal Aid Society of San Diego's gala event. And I was also able to attend on Saturday. The Antique Mall is winding its business down. Its leader has been going on for many, many years in our community, and it's just been a treasure. And so it was really fun to go and enjoy time with her and just appreciate her store. She's been a fixture there for a long time. Interesting, the company that purchased that building is a pet store, so that'll be interesting. And I'm just looking forward to a couple of events that are, I also wanted to touch on, I attended the League of Cities meeting yesterday. And the League, I've been on the California Jobs First Government Affairs Board for about the last couple of years. So I've been really involved in this program, largely because the whole purpose of this program, it was ARPA funds that were allocated to the state to help disinvested communities, which Lemon Grove has been a big one. Many years we were unincorporated county, we just didn't see the dollars coming to our city. And so now this is an opportunity to try and get some of that funding and bring it into our community. So I've been really active in making sure that happened. And so I've been working with our city staff to try and come up with proposals. We have an April 28th deadline to get our grant proposal in. And we're working with that, and we're working in collaboration with the East County Economic Development Council. So we are really, as a council, really striving to make sure that we bring dollars into our community so that we can continue to thrive. We all pay taxes, and it's nice to get some of these taxes back into our community. And so I'm really grateful for that. But I just wanted to share how wonderful it is to be on a group with, to be on this, to be with a group of people who are just invested in making sure that this community does everything from helping our kids to helping people without housing to helping our seniors. This is a group of people who are really working hard, and these are all people who have other jobs and other responsibilities. And I'm just really impressed to be part of this team. I know we've talked about it before, but this is a team of we, not me, and it's a pleasure to work with everyone here. And so now I will turn over to the city manager to give her report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and City Council members. Yes, I was part of the earthquake meeting where we all ducked under the table, as we've been taught for many, many years. And then my team went into protection mode, just making sure there were no damage to any buildings in the city. We had no outward damage. The fire and lieutenant told me that they didn't get many calls for service, so Lemon Grove went unscathed. report is, extravaganza is this Saturday. Across the street at the Recreation Center, starting at 9 o'clock with Benny the Bunny, and I believe burritos with the Fire Association. The egg hunt is age appropriate, and it starts at 10 o'clock. For more information, check our Instagram, our Facebook page, and the flyer is up there with all of the details. And then the following week is our Arbor/Earth Day at Treganza Park from 9 to noon. And please be there. There's going to be a lot of events. I think we're doing some free tree giveaways again, and free mulch giveaways. If you want mulch-free garden, it'll be free for everybody that is there. And then with that, again, welcome Captain Medina. Thank you to the command. It'll be a pleasure to work with you. And that's it.
Thank you. We do not have a closed session today, so this will we will adjourn this meeting, and the next regularly scheduled city council meeting will be on Tuesday, May 5th, 2025. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. Oh, one moment. Not yet.
Sorry, Mayor, I wanted to announce, because I got the date scheduled, so I will send everybody a hold the meeting time. But we are going to be doing our first budget study session with a revenue discussion and a possible fee study, our fee study discussion on Tuesday, April 29th in this room at 6 p.m.
Councilmember Altamirano?
I have a question for the city manager. See, there's some work being done at the senior center, Blossom Hall. I believe they completed the work on the roof there. Can you give us an update on how that's going?
I'm actually going to turn it off to the project manager, which is Mr. Murguia.
Yeah, council members, so there's two projects actually undergoing at the senior center. One is roof replacement at Lemon Blossom Hall. So one of the projects done, and the second is we had an overhang that was structurally compromised that got removed as part of that project as well, and the fascia of the building wall was being restored with stucco. So that is wrapping up.
Do we have any plans to use that center?
So once that's in place, staff will then be able to repopulate the senior center. Staff is currently, my community services staff or whatever is currently trying to talk to providers or partner with another city to provide senior services, and then that will be brought back online so we can do rentals on the weekend.
Excellent, thank you.
That's really exciting news. All right, now the meeting is really